Thank you everyone for coming. I know you guys are giving us your advisor and I appreciate that, so thank you. We're doing the regular work panel for students who typically are unsure what they want to do after high school, or maybe feel college isn't a good fit for them, other options for them to look at as far as career choices after high school. So we brought in a few career professionals today to talk to you a bit about what they do, what kind of education and training that is required for those specific jobs, that we get a better sense of what road you might have to take once you graduate from Chicago, okay? So if you could please give them your undivided attention, I would really appreciate it, okay? All right, so why don't we start at the end with the Connecticut Carpenters Training Union.
My name is Anna Cardona. I work part-time for the Connecticut Carpenters Training Fund. I'm also in the Carpenters Union Local 326. I'm a journeyman. I also share the Sisters in the Brotherhood in the state of Connecticut, female carpenters. Nice to meet you.
Hi guys, I'm Tara. I'm an admissions counselor with Job Corps. I have flyers for after this too if you want to come up and get one. So Job Corps is a program, and I heard beforehand someone say they were familiar with it. Have you heard about Job Corps? Nice, awesome. So we're a program that helps you with three things primarily. Finishing your high school diploma if you don't already have it. Trade schooling, we do trade certifications in a trade of your choice. We offer over 50 different trades. I won't tell you all of them because we'll be here forever. But you can look up on our website. And we do driver's ed. We're a completely free program as long as you are income eligible. And if someone has a question about that, feel free to ask me afterwards. I won't go into that either. Another unique thing about Job Corps is we're kind of like a halfway point between college and high school. So you can dorm with us on campus. We have residential living. And while you're taking classes during the week, you live in a dorm. Free to go home on the weekends, that's up to you, or stay on campus. We have hard trades. I heard you mention painting, plumbing, carpentry, all that. We also have trades like nursing assistant, medical assistant, pharmacy, culinary, office administration. So it's pretty broad. If you are interested in a trade and you don't know if we have it, feel free to ask me after this. You might be surprised. And we are a self-paced program. So we go year-round. We have new students start every Tuesday. You can pretty much come and interview with me, and our turnaround time right now after an interview is about 2 weeks to get into the program, as long as I find you eligible and suitable. So we definitely are a pretty quick moving program. Our only break is during Christmas for 3 weeks. Otherwise, we go through the summers because we find our students like to get in, get out, and get a job. We also have help with job placement after Job Corps. Ideally, you're leaving Job Corps already with a job lined up, but we do have a resource person who we assign to you who helps you job hunt. And they check in with you once a week for up to a year afterwards. So that's a great resource to have. I know we had mentioned that maybe college isn't an option for everyone, but if you stay on campus, you get your trade, and you want to stay on afterwards, we cover your associate's degree as long as you qualify. So that's another, with partnering schools in the area. So not every school, but some schools. And there's a limited amount of space, so you have to do well in our program to qualify. So those are just some of the things Job Corps offers. Please feel free to come up here afterwards if you want more information. Again, my name is Tara, and I'm the admissions counselor. Thank you.
How you doing? My name is Ed Raymond. You guys probably see me wandering around here every day. I'm the superintendent for O&G that's doing the project for here at the school for the STEM ag section that we're going to be building in the back. Part of what we do is we're the construction managers on the project. So what we're responsible for doing is the day-to-day operations, all the behind-the-scenes making sure all the submittals, which are the correct material that are going to be put into the project. We are make sure that people show up on time, make sure they do the job correctly, make sure the quality control is all right there together. So that's part of my responsibilities. The people in the trailer, there's a project manager and there's also a project engineer. The project engineer is taking the paperwork and make sure, like I said, that's the submittal part of things, and making sure that's all correct, and that what's been spec'd out in the specifications, and that's part of the drawings. There's always specifications that go with the drawings. that it's the proper stuff that's been submitted to submit to the architect for approval. It's a big paper trail on their side. Project manager, he's responsible for the money. He makes sure that the project is on time, on schedule, and on budget. So that's kind of his part. My job is to make sure that everybody shows up, there's no fist fights, there's all kind, that people aren't, not supposed to be in the location, kind of where everybody works together in the field. That, we kind of have a big hand-holding meeting in the morning, make sure everybody's all good, that you're gonna dig here, this one's gonna move over there, I'm not in your way over here, kind of keep the peace on the job. And also do the quality control, make sure that what's on the drawings, what was in the specs goes into the ground or goes into the walls. So my experience was, I've been in the Carpenters Union for over 35 years. Started out as an apprentice, like over here, and first job was going to get coffee and humping buckets of compound up and downstairs. But you have to start at the bottom somewhere. And when you're a new guy, this is kind of what you do for the carpenters. It depends on where you are. Commercial things, the commercial business like building schools and hospitals and that kind of stuff, it's a different world than building houses and the residential side of things. It's just, it's heavier, it's bigger, and there's more trades involved besides, just the basics. But if you go through the carpentry trade, it's a good business because you learn a little bit of everybody else's trade that's out there. With being a carpenter, you'll see how the plumbing goes in the walls. You'll see how the electricity goes in the walls. You'll see how the plumbing goes in the ground. You learn a lot of the different bits and pieces of it. So that's how I got to this position. I started as a carpenter. I had my own business for a while, but I was just from watching how everything went together. That's where I got to the position I am now. I have no real formal training. It's all like just being on the job every single day, watching out. The training I got from the union was huge because back in the days when I went, you went 2 nights a week for 4 years. So, and I was telling this gentleman here, I said, any of you guys do get into a trade where you have a 4-year apprenticeship, don't discount it as you just did an apprenticeship. It's your 4 years of going to college. You did 4 years in college, you did 4 years in apprenticeship, they have the same weight. So, but yeah, and then with the carpentry side, there's all kinds of different things you can look at. There's heavy highway work where you're building bridges, you're doing the concrete for that. You're doing those sidewalls down the highway. Commercial here, you got putting up the ceilings, you're building the stage, you're putting the chairs in. These all cover part of the carpenter's work, it's all doing that. Hanging all the doors and hardware, all part of the carpenters. And normally the carpenter's the first one on the site and the last one to leave. He's the one that hands the owners the keys and says, thank you very much, enjoy your place. So, that's all. Any questions for you? I'm more than happy.
Could I just jump in? Most of you know me, and most of you have already heard sort of my spiel, but we're actually going to be working. My name is Mr. McDonough, for those of you who don't know me, but we're actually going to be working with O&G, creating a class that I want to sort of generate interest here. And here's what it's going to be. I mean, we're living in the middle of a construction site. It's amazing. I can't keep my guys focused on what they're doing because they're looking at the excavators. And so what O&G has is a program called O&G Builds. And so they've done this in other schools. We're going to be doing it here as well. And for whoever's in this class, it's going to be twice a month. It's going to be a half-credit class. It's going to take you out of the class that you're in this period for 2 times a month. But all the folks that Ed's talking about, the electricians, the carpenters, once a month they will come in, to the class and talk to us about their trade. What's it mean to be an electrician on a big job site? What's the training? How do you get involved? And then we're going to do site walks to say, okay, this is what our part of the project is at this point. So they have, we're going to be working with O&G. That's really exciting. So if you are interested, and it will go through the end of this year and into the beginning of next year, and we're trying to make it a half-credit class. So if you're interested, or if you know anybody else who's not in this presentation who is interested, you can have them contact me, and that'll start at the end of February. And I also just want to make a plug for Job Corps. I never knew about that program. I learned about it maybe 3 years ago. It's a fantastic program. You live on campus. They do so much more than just job training. We've had a couple folks who have done the experience, and they've gotten their driver's permit and their driver's license. So if that's something, they support you in a lot of different ways. support you in classwork, but also really give you, some really solid experience. So Mr. McManus and myself later on this spring will probably be going to the New Haven site to tour that. But it's an amazing program that sort of launches you right into what these folks are talking about trade careers. So you'll come out, ready to serve an apprenticeship. So again, open up your ears, but big thing here is if you're interested in that O&G builds class, or you know somebody who is, come by and talk to me about that. All right? Thank you for listening. All right, thanks, Bobby D.
You're up. You're up.
No, we already spoke, but go ahead.
Oh, I honestly don't know. I mean, I guess from what I've been told, and I apologize for being late, I was stuck at power outages. So you guys are all interested in going into the trades. I'm guessing, please correct me if I'm wrong at any point. So I don't know what to offer you guys other than, I think the trades, I graduated from Chicago in 1984. Been working in the trades since 1980. My father started his business back in 1975, been working in them ever since. I think it's a great career path for anybody who wants to do it, but you got to work. I mean, unfortunately, I've had a lot of you younger generations. 7 o'clock in the morning seems to be an issue, but you get a guy who works for OG here. I mean, he's on the site here at 6:30 in the morning. I get up every morning at 4. So if you're truly serious about working in the trades, I mean, I would love to have any one of you, spend a weekend, a week during a Christmas break or anything like that, but you're going to work in the cold. I've been standing in 6 inches of water for the last 2 hours trying to get a lady's power back on because a tree came down. It's hard work, but it can be extremely lucrative. I took over my father's business 20 years ago. I've got 18 guys working for me right now. 5 of them are Chappaqua graduates. 2 of my sons are going to school for it. So I think it's great. One of my sons wanted nothing to do with it. So honestly, on the electrical side, I mean, there's a lot to know these days. There's a lot to do from technology, lighting systems, stereo, TV, all that stuff. The computer guys come in and make it all work, but somebody's got to put the wires behind the wall, and that's where we come in. So we don't get involved. At least my company doesn't get involved in a facility this big. Some of the the area we live in. I mean, some of the houses we're working on right now are up to 14,000 square feet. So, they're small industrial buildings when it comes to how many miles of wire are run. I mean, we're on an average electrical job these days at somebody's house for almost 2 years doing the rough electrical end of it. And, that's just for some residential homes. If you get into the electrical trade, lucky enough to get working with the guys from O&G and stuff you could be on a project like this 3 or 4 years running pipe, pulling wires. There's millions of feet of wire in a building like this. So, if you want to get into the trades and you don't want to go to college, that's exactly where I was when I was a senior in high school back in 1984. My father owned a business. I did a few sports. College, I mean, I had way too much goddamn fun in high school. Going to college just wasn't fair to my parents because it just would have spent a lot of money and I don't think I'd get anything out of it. So, if any of you, please ask me the questions because I don't know what else to say. I think the trades are great. I think there's a lot of money to be made in trades if you put your nose to the grindstone, get up in the morning. I mean, I'll give you an example. If you start in the trades and you're still living at home, which you probably all will because it's just tough in the economy right now, your mom can't make you a dentist appointment on a Thursday at 2 in the afternoon. At least in my company you can. Your mom's got to make your dentist appointment after 5 o'clock. So that's what being in the trades means. You go to work in the morning, you work all day long, you go home, and that's when your after work activities start. Dentist appointment, doctor's appointment, dog got to go to the vet. I've got guys who come in the morning and said, listen, my mom's made me a dentist appointment. Well, that's just too bad. I mean, I get that emergencies happen, but you just got to be willing to buckle down and, you work. I worked at 7 a.m. Monday morning when it was 15 below zero. You guys had the day off. Most of you did. You didn't, did you?
I was out there.
Yeah.
It was cold.
It wasn't happy.
It wasn't fun, but we made money. And, so please, ask me the questions. I don't know what else to say about the trades.
All right, well, does anyone have any questions they would like to ask the panelists?
I just want to add one more thing. This is throughout my experience too, and through my years of coming up. If you guys go into the trades, just don't discount higher education. Okay, I always like the same thing. I was like, I'm going into the trades, I'm not going to never need to go to college, it's just a waste of time. I said, I did my time, I did my apprenticeship like I said before. But later in life, I went back to school. And you know something, there's a lot to be learned by going back to, even if you go down to Norwalk Community College or go to one of the community colleges, you need to keep your brain active there too. The trade is fine, but don't discount higher education to go with it. You know, you really still need that piece of it. Even though you may not think you do, it makes you a better writer if you're gonna write daily reports. It makes your math skills better. If you're soft on math now, you can pick up better math skills to do your paperwork, to do your estimating, to do whatever you have to do. So don't discount that part of it. You know, a lot of it had to do with communication too, and be able to talk to people. You learn those trades, you learn those skills with the higher education. So, you know, maybe later on down, you know, 6, 7 years, 10 years down the road, you might want to go back to school. Just don't discount not doing it.
I'll piggyback on him, and I didn't bring it up. He's absolutely right. I mean, we have to go to continuing education every year to keep up our electrical license. So to become a licensed electrician these days, you have to put in 8,000 working hours, and you need 16 college, almost college credits, but they're classroom credits that have to do with the National Electric Code. If 5 years after you got your license, you wanted to go back to school, and he's got a great point from a business end of it, you will appreciate going to school a hell of a lot more because it'll be on your dime, not your parents'. So you'll buckle down, and I guarantee you'll get a lot better grades than if you went on your parents' nickel. And he's right about bookkeeping and everything like that. Thank God for my wife, who's able to step in every once in a while if I have to change secretaries or anything like that. She comes in because of her college education. She's absolutely able to help me where I'd be lost, because I never did it. I wish I did, but he's 100% correct about furthering your education after the fact. That, you know, get into the trades, get the trade, get the license or whatever, and then think about going back to a community college at night to get a little business aspect of it, to learn QuickBooks and computers. And when I went to school in '84, we didn't have computers. So now, for me just trying to type, I took Autoshop instead of typing, because, you know, secretaries took typing, guys took Autoshop. So, I mean, wish I took typing. So right now, I'm a 2-finger typer, which I wish I could, you know, do better at. So he's absolutely correct.
It's the same way. The architect type.
Yep.
You guys can whiz right through it, but yeah.
I want to add something to that too. I'm working with the apprenticeship program. So I also wanted to add that after you do your 4-year apprentice, the hours you put into classroom, there's certain colleges in Connecticut and in Massachusetts that will give you credit for those hours, and you can use those credits towards college. So you're also in the apprenticeship program, you're earning credits for college.
Well, at this point, if you have any specific questions you'd like to get up and ask them directly, feel free. That's usually how we typically end this panel, is if you are too embarrassed maybe to ask a question to somebody you want to get to ask them, feel free to get up and ask questions directly. I just want to thank the panelists for coming today. We were a couple short, but for those who came, I really do appreciate your time.
Okay, Mr. Smith, who works for the highway department, he's knee-deep water issues right now.
I'm sure,
He
yeah, I'm
apologizes,
sure,
so.
yeah. He's got other things to do. See, that's what happens when you work in trades. You're always on call, you're always on demand, constantly being needed to fix things and do things. So that's a perfect example. All right, so why don't we give a round of applause to
Guys, let me just add one more thing. I'm Mr. Boucher, the Director of School Counseling, those of you who don't know. So I do want you guys to get up here and interact with these individuals. They took time out of their workday, and they gave us great information, and these are all really relevant topics for you guys. These are all fantastic trades, and they're things that you really want to consider. ONG is doing a fantastic job right now on our agri-science project. Say it again?
Making a lot of mud.
Making a lot of mud. I mean, think about the weather that they've had to put up with in the last couple of weeks. So we're thankful for all you guys coming.
Absolutely,
Really
yes,
appreciate
thank
it.
you so much.
So if we can just get you guys to kind of all stand up, so it's not really, you know, a question of if. It's mandatory. We're all going to stand up. We're all going to kind of come through. We're going to talk to our panelists, and we're going to end this the correct way.